Hey guys, me Dave. It's 24th of March, Tuesday. So uh last week was hell week, you guys. Probably the worst week I've ever had here. Probably for a week. So didn't end up going to the hospital, which is kind of surprising, but I don't know. So now they're really hitting me at nighttime. Last couple days, nights. They're hitting me right now. Legs feel like they're more numb. Feet are numb, you know. So we're not getting any better. Um, Not really sure what's going on. Um, like I say, Wednesday, my therapist came, PT came. She's like, try to do everything with the walker. Don't use the wheelchair, which I was totally fine with. I was feeling comfortable walking in the apartment, blah, blah, blah. On Thursday, of course, they put a stop to that. I haven't walked in about a week. Tomorrow will be a week, 8 days tomorrow. So it's kind of like we didn't even have therapy, you know. I do think there's other things going on. I think there's another reason for all this stuff. But okay, when I was in the nursing home last summer, I was trying to get in this place. They were trying to get me into this place. Okay, they didn't want me going back to my mom's. I was totally fine with that. I was trying to fill out the application, make my I couldn't even see. I was so frustrated. My mom was frustrated. Everyone was frustrated. Some of it was an act, I'm sure, but I was really frustrated. I couldn't even see, fill stuff out. And finally, I said, "Forget it. I'm going home." I got home. I gave him like a week's notice. Doctor discharged me. You want to go? You can go. They didn't get me a wheelchair. They were trying to stall and all the stuff. Um, but they would rather do it the hardest way possible instead of like a social worker sitting down with you and saying, I will help you fill the application out. I will help you so you can get in this apartment on the 1st or the 5th. I had money. I could have ordered a couple chairs, pots and pans, whatever. My mom and sister could have got it set up for the 1st. And I could have stayed in therapy until the end of August. They were going to make me have a spend down anyway if I stayed there any longer. So, these torturers are on a different page. They wanted to get me back to my mom's, isolated to an upstairs bedroom, basically. And, my mom would have to bring me food again. It would just been terrible, you know, or I would have to order, you know, food from Walmart or whatever. And so, you know, other people are like, no, we're getting him into that apartment. So I went home. I was there for almost 2 weeks, and almost right away, protective services showed up, worried about me falling, which is legitimate. I could have fell down the stairs or something. And anyway, they made me come up here, which I would have came up here anyway. But if I could have avoided all that stuff if the stupid social worker at the nursing home would have sat down and said, I'll help you fill the application out so we can get you in there, go right from here to that apartment. Could have been said and done. No, and, oh, I had to go home. Every night, it was a big chaotic thing to get up here and stuff. Well, they're kind of doing the same thing now. I only got 2 PT sessions this month. The doctor came on the first, and then the doctor came again with my PT girl, and then she came last Wednesday. I walked with her. She's like, I want you to walk me out to the door. I want you to check the mailbox every day. I want you to start walking. And I was doing it on my own, more than they even wanted me to. And then boom, Thursday, you're not walking. Friday, boom. What's worse than Thursday? I don't know what the hell that was for. You're not walking. You're done walking. So I haven't walked in a week. Tomorrow's Wednesday. So they did the same thing with Walmart. Every time I'd order groceries, get hit. Well, it's like I gotta order groceries, right? I gotta eat. I can't just not order groceries. So I think they were trying to chase me back to my mom's house. I think, you're trying to figure some of this out. I could be completely wrong. I really don't know, but I think they were trying to chase me back to my mom's house. Make it miserable as possible. And it's been miserable since November. And it's still miserable now. It's worse since I started therapy. So, but I like having them come, 1-2 days a week, and but so they told her not to come this week, so nobody's coming this week. So I haven't tried to walk. I didn't try to walk over the weekend. I haven't tried walking this week. I don't plan on trying to walk, unless they let me know it's okay. But you can't trust these people, you guys. Wednesday, they said, leave the wheelchair and try to do everything with the walker. I did that. Got my ass kicked Thursday and Friday. So I'm not going to believe these guys. Who wouldn't be afraid to walk? They could be like, oh, why don't you walk? They can send subliminals. Silent V2K. Why don't you try to walk down the hall or outside? Tomorrow's supposed to be nice. And then that guy comes back. And he's throwing your ass in the hospital on Thursday and Friday. So the reality is, I don't need therapy. Because there's nothing wrong with me. I hope it stops. But I think they're trying to sabotage it. They told her not to come. Oh, blame him. He's not walking. It's his fault. It's his fault that he is not walking yet on his own, which I was doing more than they even wanted me to. I was doing like 200-300 steps a day, and then plus walking around the apartment, and I thought, oh, they're finally letting me. They're going to actually let me get better this time. And then boom, Thursday came, Friday came. It was like, you're not, they're like, you're not walking, asshole. So I don't know what's going to happen. But the good thing is that is that I hope they don't leave me like this, hanging like this. They'll never let you walk ever again. They brought my truck up here. I'm not sure why they brought it up here. Um, to say, well, don't walk away from everything and just leave, go back to my mom's or something. Or, maybe things will get better. Maybe, I really don't know why they brought my truck up here. But the thing is that you're not doing very well. And Medicare will pay PT 1, 2, 3 times a week, 100% up to $3,000. After that, they'll cover 80% unlimited sessions. Unlimited. Yeah, I could have therapy for a year, 2 days a week, and they'll cover 80% of that. So, whatever they're trying to do, we don't have to worry about running out of sessions, running out of money. I'll pay $200 a month or whatever it is. If a session costs $200 a session, what is that? $20? Is that 20% of $200? Is that $20? Or whatever. So, I'll pay that, no problem. So that's one good thing, is that we can keep this going for 6 months if we have to. Hoping it'll stop next month. Not get my hopes up, but they're trying to sabotage it, is what I'm trying to say. So, torturing the hell out of my legs, my feet right now. All night long. It's not 20 minutes. It's not a half hour. It's not an hour. It's 10 hours a night, Up all night. I'm up all night. Up and down, up and down. They do it when I'm laying down. Well, I'm not going to sleep in the chair. I'm not going to sleep in the living room chair. I'm not going to do it. So, that's what's going on. Another thing is, I don't know if they're doing it or if I have a serious problem. One of my toes on my left foot is purple, dark blue, purple. I looked that up. That is a sign of poor circulation. Could turn into gangrene, which could be serious. It could turn into a blood clot, stuff like that. I'm going to get the shot on the 6th. So I sent a message to my nurses. I said, well, as long as I'm there, I want to get this toe looked at. So I'm keeping an eye on the toe. I put a sock on because I can't stand to look at it. And then I said, well, can we do blood work too? I want to get, see what my blood work is. So I'm going to get blood work, get toe looked at by the doctor, and then get the shot. Might as well do it while I'm there, So that's what's going on with me, you guys. It's been hell. It's been hell since November. It's, they're trying to control by torture by control. And my brain just doesn't comprehend that. And they know that. That's why they do it. Well, he's not listening to us, so we're gonna torture him because he's not doing what we say, which I don't know what they want me to do, you know. It's just they just want to torture you, and that's the bottom line. So they're trying to sabotage it. I don't think they want me to have any freedom back. I don't, you know. But every month I'm like, well, maybe this month will be better. Maybe this month will be better. It's getting worse and worse and worse. So I hope it gets better next month. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But that's what's going on with me, guys. I'll talk to you guys later.